welcome back to A Knitter's Life, where tea and knitting collide in one big pot of fun. Oh my, there's so much to get caught up on. First, big hello and welcome back to all of you lovely friends. I really appreciate all your kind words that you had for the last episode that my mom and I did together. The Mother's Day episode. It was a lot of fun to do and sit and chat with her and laugh. And the bloopers at the end, I edited them incorrectly, but anyways, you guys all got the gist and all laughed along with us. We were laughing so hard because we kept on messing up saying Happy Mother's Day. But we really wanted to say Happy Mother's Day, and so anyways, but my mom and I can start laughing, and sometimes when we start laughing, it's really hard to stop laughing. So, but anyways, it's good and healthy, right? Good and healthy to laugh. So I hope you all have had a lovely Mother's Day, which now seems ages ago, and are having a glorious spring. Our spring is a bit waffly. Oh my goodness. It's been very cold this past week, very cold and very wet. So we've had to pull out the wool sweaters and wrap ourselves in scarves again. And the sun finally came out today, and we are very happy. We are very, very happy. And the garden is happy too. But all that wet weather has made for a glorious garden. So my climbing rose looks like it's going to be amazing this year. And my clematis is very happy. So that will be just fine. We'll manage. In August, when it is very hot, we'll be looking back and saying, why were we complaining? So it's going to be okay. Well, since the last time I had a long time to sit down and chat with you, I have gone to the Greencastle Fiber Fair and picked up some lovely things. And I have gone to visit a really cool material store, a fabric store down in downtown Indy, which I had never been to before. And of course, I've had lots of teas and visits with friends and lots of good adventures and some knitting that's been doing, and also a lot of scheming up new things to do. I'm beginning to realize that my brain is bigger than my time. Do any of you have that problem? Is your brain and the ideas that you have bigger than your time? Oh my. Oh well. What are we gonna do? We can dream. So, but whips. Let's talk about some whips. No. Let's talk about some finished objects, okay? Okay. This kind of falls into the finished object category. I'm going to call a finished object the postcard cal, at least for right now. I'm going to stop sending out postcards, and I'm going to draw a prize for everyone who has posted on Instagram and everyone who's been posting in the Ravelry group. So that if you're new to the podcast, we've been doing a really fun post a picture with a Knitter's Life postcard. And what I have been doing is you message me on Ravelry, and then I send you a postcard, and then you take a picture of your knitting life with the postcard and post it either on Instagram or on Ravelry underneath. In Ravelry, you don't need a hashtag, but on Instagram, you need a hashtag so that we can all find those same postcards. It's been a lot of fun. It has been so much fun to see everybody's knitting life from all sorts of different places, to see the differences and also the similarities. But I'm realizing that with summer coming on and the end of school, things are just crazy, and I've been so delinquent and delayed in getting out the last 2 batches of postcards, and I feel very bad for everyone. So I'm going to put a pause on sending them out, but I'm going to do a prize drawing for everyone who has requested a postcard and who has posted a postcard at the end of June. So I'm going to give some time to get the last bits of postcards that I just sent out to people, and people can upload photos. You can upload as many photos as you want to. There is no limit. You can do that either in the Ravelry group or on Instagram. So post as many times as you want, and then I will, at the end of August, I will open it back up again, and I will take new requests for postcards, and I'll start sending them out, and I'll probably do another prize drawing at the end, probably at the beginning of December. So it will be August through November 30th or whatever. It seems like, you know, the summer months and then of course December can be just really, really busy in my household. So I've learned to just kind of cut back a little bit. So I'll be cutting back the postcards and sending them out over the summer months, and we'll do it again in the fall, okay? It'll be fun. So I can't wait to see more postcard pictures, and I will do that drawing. Of course, I'll announce that here on the podcast, but I'll do that drawing for the ones that have been posted, so that will be fun. So that's kind of a FO in some respects, but not quite, especially for all of you who are still getting postcards. Keep posting. So recently I was knitting socks for John, and you'll see them in my whips, and Arthur came up to me and he said, "Mommy, are you knitting me socks too?" And I said, "Oh, yes, of course, Arthur. Yes, of course I am." And so I showed him the yarn that I was going to knit him socks out of, and he liked it. So then that night I cast on a pair of socks for him so that I could say whenever the boys asks, "Are you knitting socks for me?" Yes, I am. And I always have a pair of socks for them on the needles. I'm learning that now because John will ask me, "Are you knitting me socks?" And I'll say, and I'll usually have either plan to or have something cast on for him, and he loves it. He loves it when I knit him socks. He says makes his toes feel loved, which is so sweet. So Arthur had never asked for socks, and then I realized, yeah, I need to have, if I'm knitting for John, I need to have a pair cast on for Arthur too, because that's very important that he sees me do that too. At least I feel like that. I need that. So I made Arthur a pair of socks, and of course Arthur's went faster than John's. So anyways, they're just plain vanilla socks with my short row crocodile heel, my garter stitch short row heel, and then I did a star toe, so it was easy to end and do. And I did these in the car waiting for the school pickup. The yarn is lovely. It's a fun yarn. It is Yowl. Let's see, I was just working on, let's see, get the skein of yarn, skate ball skein. Okay, it's Lang Yarns Yowl. And the color number is, it's always hard to find, okay. Here we go. 902. So it is a lot of fun to knit with. I love the striping. It's kind of, it's stripes, but it's also kind of random stripes. So the stripes are different sizes. Well, at least on Arthur's socks. They're kind of the same. Here's a work in progress with this same yarn, and you can see the stripes are a little more random. They're not uniform, but it makes it a lot of fun. So Arthur's socks are a whip, and I need to cast on another pair so that he has a pair of socks going on in my basket. I did finish my Regia Color Mania socks, so both of them, and this time I did the extended crocodile heel. So I don't think I had showed you those, although I feel like these have been on the needles for a long time. But the prettiest whip I think I have today is the Victoria Shawl by Sandra Terryhart. So this was a shawl pattern that was gifted to me by the lovely Amelia, and she got her shawl done lickety-split. Oh my goodness. She got hers done so quickly, and I was working away on mine. And working away on mine, and working away on mine, and then I finally finished it and blocked it. This is out of Ella Ray lace yarn, which is more, their lace yarn is more of like a very light fingering weight yarn. And I didn't have enough yarn to do the complete, so I took some stash yarn that I had that is in like a contrasting solid. Not contrasting solid, a matching solid. And I did the edging in that, which I actually think really adds depth to the shawl, so I really, really like it. So wearing this, I think that I want to do some more crocheted shawls for the summertime, because I think that they seem to breathe more because they're holier. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know, because I'm surprised by it, because crochet adds a lot of weight. Usually it's more weighty than a knitted piece, but it seems cooler. It seems like it breathes more. I don't know. I'd love to do a crocheted shawl in maybe a cotton or a linen blend, well, maybe a cotton fingering. I think that would be really, really nice, because I still do like to wear something around my neck in the summertime, but it gets pretty hot here, so it has to be something that's light and airy. So that's my whip. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think I do want to cast on or make another one, because it was fun to do. Anyways, so I was very pleased with that. Okay, on to whips. The first whip I have is one of my Raindrop shawl, and the Raindrop shawl is my newest pattern shawl release. And I've got this one going. You can see I'm not quite done. I think I'm still in 2 yarn overs phase. And it's a crescent shawl. Well, you guys know about this. So many of you are doing it in the knit along, which is so fun. I'm so glad so many people have joined us. You know, I said in the Ravelry group, but I'll say it here again. I feel like I've jinxed my spring, because it has been another really, really rainy spring. Very rainy. I mean, so soggy that some of the really old heavy evergreen trees are toppling over because the ground is so smushy. And you know, none of the farmers can plant anything because it's so wet. In fact, a few of my plants that I planted they're native plants to Indiana, but it's so wet that I had to dig them up and put them in a pot so they could drain really well. So it's just been that wet. It's been very wet. But anyways, the day of the cast on, which was May 1st, we had a really big storm here in Indiana. It was supposed to be just a thunderstorm. I hear the kids coming down. My mom's over visiting. And Mom asked me if I had done a podcast. Here comes Arthur. Mom asked me if I had done a podcast in a while. I said, no, I just haven't had time. She goes, well, you go do them and I'll play with the kids. So they're supposed to be doing that, but here comes Arthur. Hello! Do you want to? I'm doing a podcast. I know. Would you like to show everyone your nice ball on the podcast? Come here. They haven't seen you in a while. Then you have to go back and play with Grandma. Look. Can you say hi? Hi. Yeah, hi. Yeah. That's right. Show them your big ball. You got a big ball today, didn't you?
I got a big ball.
Yeah. And it's fun to play with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who are you playing with upstairs?
Grandma and my John.
Grandma and my John. Woohoo! Okay, well let's go find him again, okay? All right. I'll be back.
Wow.
Okay, Arthur wants to give you a kiss. Okay, everybody? Here he comes. Oh, that's so nice. That's a good boy. Okay, we're back. Some people have cats that walk into the podcast, and I have kids. I love my kids. They're so great. I love how each of them likes to come down and be on the podcast. It's so cute. So anyways, I was talking about the Raindrops knit along. And the day of the cast on was May 1st. And it was a Sunday, and we were supposed to have a thunderstorm in the afternoon. And the thunderstorm kind of held off until the early evening. And my husband and I were sitting watching our shows on TV. The kids had gone to bed. It was about 9:20. And we were watching Grantchester on PBS, which, by the way, anybody else watching Grantchester? I love Grantchester. It's over now. The seasons are too short. But I could watch Grantchester over and over again. I want to live in his village. Oh, well. So anyways, and all of a sudden we heard the sirens going. And we thought, well, is it just the tornado? The thunderstorm got, upgraded or something, and it's just a severe thunderstorm, or why are the sirens going off? So we switched over to the Weather Channel, and the lady said, if you're on the west side, you need to seek shelter now. And the sirens really loud, and we're like, oh, okay. And we had just had, earlier in the week, a very small tornado touchdown on the west side, very small. So we were, the chances are, right? The chances are of it actually happening, a tornado actually happening, is very, very small. But when they're telling you to go seek shelter and the warnings are, the sirens are blaring, you go seek shelter, right? Because if you didn't, it would come. So we ran, JK ran and got Arthur, and I ran and scooped up John. We carried them downstairs in blankets, and we turned on the TV in the basement, and we have a box cupboard under the stairs, which is really the best place if there was a tornado that was going to touch down, and we should be in that. So I cleaned that out a little bit. We all got ready, and nothing didn't come because we sought shelter. So I was very happy about that. The kids slept through most of it. They were so tired, and kind of woke up at the end just as we were putting them back to sleep. So. But anyways, the moral of the story, though, is to follow instructions, right? So I was casting on for the cowl, and I thought, man, this cowl, I tell you, raindrops. It's not supposed to be tornado shawl. It's supposed to be raindrop shawl. But then it's been rainy ever since. So, anyways, this is Reinvent Yarn by Ancient Art Fiber Yarn. I always get their name wrong. Ancient Arts. Where is it? I don't always get their name wrong, but Ancient Arts Yarns. Thank you. I think on their website they have fiber in it as well. But here is their tag. They have beautiful, beautiful yarn. I knit the DK weight sample of the Raindrops shawl in this, and I just loved it. That was a MCN base, a merino cashmere nylon base. This is a new base to them. It's wool, mohair, nylon, acrylic, and silk. And it's beautiful. It's a light fingering, and the drape is just gorgeous. So and it's going to give excellent stitch definition. I mean, it's going to block out really, really well, and that's from the mohair and the silk in it. The silk also gives it a little bit of a shine. But if you're a super sensitive person to softness, this wouldn't be the yarn for you. If you really are not sensitive to that, like I'm not sensitive to softness at all, and I really do like working with different kinds of yarns because they give different drapes and different stitch definitions, so I'm really looking forward to working with that. I also did a little bit of a larger needle size than what I had originally done when I worked the pattern. I think this is it's worn off on my needles. I think it's an 8. So I'm using, two sizes larger for the fingering weight, and I'm getting a bit of a bigger gauge. It's going to block out. But this yarn is going to bloom a lot too, so I'm excited to see how it blocks out. So it's a beautiful, this colorway is called, it's called Mineral, and it's just so pretty. Very, very pretty. So I'm enjoying that very much. The other, I do have two. I have two Raindrop shawls on my needles. Aren't I crazy? Yes, I am crazy. But I really I'm enjoying the knit along. I'm enjoying knitting along with all of you. Some of you have your shawls already finished. It's amazing. Knitter's friend over in Australia. Hi, Emma. She has such beautiful, she did a beautiful yellow shawl, and it's gorgeous. I think she has it posted in Ravelry. So go into the Ravelry thread, the Raindrops Ravelry thread, and you can see her beautiful yellow shawl. It's so pretty. Now I want to do a yellow one. So I'm doing it's a robin's egg blue one, and this was supposed to be for my mom for Mother's Day. Shh, don't tell her. But I didn't get it finished, and so I just figured it will be a just because gift, right? Those are lovely. But I thought this blue would be perfect for her. And I am a little farther along on this one. I think I'm up to the 3 yarn over section. So just a little ways to go. I am knitting this one on the recommended needle size, which is, I think it's the 6, US 6. So I am knitting this out of Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper sock yarn, and I am loving it. That brings me to a story. Okay, so Gina, Brownie Knits, and I went off on a beautiful Saturday. It wasn't raining, shockingly, back in April, and to our fiber festival. Now, we have this fiber festival once a year, and it's kind of like the first festival of the season, and it's usually the main one that I go to. It's postage stamp size. Like, it's not even small. It's postage stamp size, but it's so endearingly sweet, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. It's very friendly and very sweet, and I just love it. So I've been going there for a long time too, so I think that's why I love it. But Gina and I were almost at the end. Oh, her husband drove us down, so we were like posh VIPs in the back of her big car, and we were just chatting and knitting away, and having a ton of fun, and before we knew it, we were there. And we walked around, and I had a list of things that I wanted to find, and I was finding them, and I was almost at the end. I think actually maybe I was at the end of my list, and we rounded this corner, and oh no, I hadn't gotten the blue or green yarn yet. We rounded the corner of one of the buildings, and there was the most gorgeous booth of gorgeous yarn. And I think Gina said, it's so beautiful, I can't take it, because it was filled with gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. And do you know whose booth it was? Yep, Leading Men Fiber Arts. And Josh, and I forget his partner's name. I'm sorry. I'm not very good with names. But they were there together, and they do such a good job. They're so cute, and they do such a good job with their hand dyes. Their hand dyes are so, they have a lot of depth to them. I don't think you can see it, but it has even just very fine speckles of blue in it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's a sea foamy and robin's egg blue. It's just gorgeous. So it was very hard to choose. I walked away with one skein, which is really dumb, and Gina bought some more, which was really smart. I have a hard time making spur of the moment decisions. So usually this was on my list, this color. So of fingering weight yarn, so that's why I got it. I'm just not very good with, oh well. Anyways, so I would have had one of each in their booth if I had $1 million. It's just gorgeous yarn, beautiful yarn. They have a wonderful online shop as well. And you can usually find their colorways in stock, which is really nice. It's really hard when you find a yarn dyer that's really lovely, and they're sold out a lot of times, which is nothing to say. That's just fine, but it's nice when there's some in stock. So they do a very, very good job and keep their shop well stocked. So anyways, I would highly recommend them. So I'm working on that in one of my little fairy bags. So the other whip, what's the other whip? There's another whip. It's a design whip. So I won't show that to you. While we were on the Fiber Fair discussion, another wonderful vendor there is Knit Spin Farm, Joanna, and she is so adorable. She makes the best bats in the whole wide world. At least I think so. And I have really come to enjoy spinning bats. I don't, it's just it's a whole different, I don't know, adventure of spinning a bat. I just love it. And she had too many choices there. Too many. Her booth was just overflowing with gorgeousness, and she had cards. Her photography is out of this world. So visit her Etsy shop because she has both her cards and her beautiful bats in there. So if you don't spin, you can still enjoy some of her loveliness and her farm. And I didn't know what to choose until I read the name on this. Puddles and Galoshes. And I had to have it. That's so us. That's so me right now. And I have yellow rain boots, so it was perfect. I think what I'd like to do is spin this up and then make a scarf for me for next spring. So I'll probably spin this up sometime over the summertime and have it on the needles maybe in the fall. But it's something fun to look forward to. It's a beautiful blend of Blue Face Leicester, Falkland Merino, Shetland Silk, and Silk Knoll. So it's going to be quite lovely to spin up. And it's yellow. So I took Arthur up to Joanna's farm this past week and last week. And it was delightfully muddy. We got to have a good stomp around in the mud. He got to feed the chickens. I'll hopefully post a video probably at the beginning. He got to feed the chickens. He was so happy about feeding the chickens. He got to go into the chicken's house. He got to see the baby sheep, which are so adorable. But it was so funny. There's quite a difference between the goats and the sheep and how they're protective of their young. And Joanna's goats are her sheep are friendly too, but her goats are so friendly. Her mama goats are so friendly, and they don't mind Arthur at all. And they don't mind me. So when the goats came first, and if you remember from previous episodes, we had gone up and visited them. And Arthur actually got to hold a baby goat and cuddle with them. And you can sit in their stall and actually just pick them up and talk to them. And the mama goats don't mind at all. They're very laid back, low key. Well, the sheep mamas were indignant. They stomped their little foot. And it wasn't bad. It's very natural for them to be very protective of their young, which is very, very good. But they were very unaware of Arthur coming in, and poor Arthur, he wanted to go right up and give them a hug. So, but all of a sudden, I instinctively thought, oh no, okay, this isn't the safest situation for Arthur. So Arthur, I've got to carry you, which he was mad about. So he's stomping his little foot, and the sheep are stomping their little feet. The mom, I wish I could have gotten a video of it, but I was holding Arthur, and he was kind of protesting loudly that he would prefer to be on the ground holding the baby sheep, holding the lamb, rather than in my arms. But at one point we're in the barn, And the sheep had all taken their lambs and gone into the stall and and just were having their own space. And I stood on the opposite side of the wall so we could look over but give the sheep their own space. And this mama sheep looks up at me. She stamps her little foot, and I said, "See, Arthur, she really wants us to have some space. She really needs to be by herself with her lammies because it's very important that she protects them, and she doesn't know that we're safe." So anyways, we finally got him out of and on the other side of the fence, and then I could let him down again. But oh my goodness, he wanted to feed those lammies hay, and he was so upset that he couldn't. So I apologized to Joanna because we weren't on our best behavior, but Joanna understood, which was she's a very sweet, caring person. So anyways, if you go over to her podcast, she oftentimes has farm updates, and she just talks and shows you the lambs and the baby goats, and it's utter awesomeness. So I'll try to put the link down below. But anyways, that was fun, and it's always fun to have a bit of her farm to spin, a bit of her creativity. So I'm looking forward to spinning that. So the other work in progress, is in this lovely bag. This is a Delaque bag, and I was sent this to kind of give it a test drive and see how it works out. Delaque is a lovely lady who started working with some seamstresses overseas, and to provide work for them, work for women overseas, which is a really neat project. I'll kind of link to her story and some of her videos down below in the Ravelry group and also in YouTube. But they're all hand-sewn bags, and they're printed. The fabric is printed over there as well. They're beautifully done. When I thought of these bags, I thought of a big company, but it really isn't. It's run by Della, and she her goal is to provide a working wage to these women so that they can take care of their families. Because oftentimes, especially in Asian countries, there isn't a lot of work that women can do. So this provides some work that they can do, which is really totally awesome. This bag, you know how we all love our scrap cans? Well, I figured that this is the perfect bag for the scrap can. This is the Clio bag, and it's a circular bag with a circular bottom. It has a hard bottom right here, so it stands up really well, and it has 4 outer pockets on the side, on the bag. So 2 in the front and 2 in the back. Here's the back, and they're really, really quite generous. Right now, as you can see, I have my crochet scrap can in there. So I have the working part of it. I have some of the minis that I've already wound up, and then I have more minis. Can you see at the bottom? So in the sides, I think it's going to change as the project gets bigger, but in the sides I have my crochet hook and my joining yarn in one of the pockets. More joining yarn, and then in another pocket I have the granny squares that I did. And what I try to do for my blanket, I like it because you can keep everything organized. What I try to do with my scrap can blanket is I try to, I'm adding it to the blanket in kind of like a log cabin square. So I will add squares along the top, and then I will turn it, and I will add squares along this side, and then I will turn it, and I'll add squares along that. So it's kind of getting gradually bigger and bigger and bigger. I hope that's the way to go. I mean, you can do everything differently, but I wanted to kind of space out the colors and things like that. So this was the way that I thought of doing it. So what I do is I have 6, I need to add 6 on top here. So I crochet 6 squares and then I join them all to the blanket. And then I will turn the blanket and crochet, I think it's then 7 squares and join them to the blanket. So I have 6 squares. So I can now join these to the blanket tonight, which is kind of fun. So I end up crocheting a little bit and then joining. And it's very rewarding to join as you go because you see it growing. It's so exciting. I definitely prefer this way. This is my first blanket that I've ever done in the join as you go method, and I can see myself doing a lot more. I've had this recent epiphany with blankets. I don't know if I've shared this with you guys. I was talking to Joanna when I was there at her house about this. Let me go get the blanket in question. Okay, I'm back. One of my recent vintaging trips, I found this gorgeous hexagon crochet blanket. And even though here's this, it is, it's all acrylic, but I still love it. It's so beautiful. The colors just make me so happy. I have it in my chair in the kitchen where it just really adds a bright of pop to my day whenever I see it there. And whenever I get a chance to sit down, it's just something that's cozy and pretty. And I got it on a day that I was feeling rather blue. And it added so much joy and gave me so much joy. I thought, you know, I think I want to knit some more blankets, because even if, you know, the boys don't keep them, and when I'm old and gone, they end up at some vintage store, somebody's gonna come across this blanket that I've made and find joy, and how neat it is to bless somebody that I've never met and maybe is, you know, alive way after I'm gone because I'm died of old age, to bless them with some joy, because I have no idea who crocheted this blanket. I have no idea when she crocheted this blanket, or if it was a he. I have no idea who it was for or what it was meant to be, but obviously it gave somebody joy for a period of time, and then it was at a vintage store for me, and it gave me so much joy. So, and I just thought, I'd like to do that for somebody else way in the future. So I'm going to try to make it my goal to knit or crochet more blankets. Is that crazy? Maybe, but why not, right? Why not? So I am, my crochet little scrap can is my first, is it my first full Afghan? I made an Afghan when I was about 16. It was a crocheted Afghan, and I still have it. But this would be my second Afghan. So I have never been a very big blanket maker. So, but I've decided to change that because I've been inspired, I suppose, or I've been blessed, I would say, given great joy with this fun blanket. So anyways, I don't know if you guys make blankets or if you're blanket makers or if you like vintage blankets, but it'd be fun to hear about in the group and see some of the vintage blankets that you found or some of the blankets that you've made. That would be fun to see too. So on to the last few things. Look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? They're so pretty. I stumbled upon this wonderful, magical fabric store in my city. It's called Crimson Tate, and it's run by this wonderful, just kindred spirit of a lady. She was an art teacher for high school students for a long, long time, and then she decided to retire or stopped teaching, and she quilts. So it's really a quilting store, and she designs her own quilts. She designs her own fabrics. I mean, talk about how awesome is that? So I'll put the links below. The fabric store is called Crimson Tate, and it's just magical to walk into. I want to take some sewing lessons from her, so I'm going to try to make some time either for myself during the summertime or in the fall to take one of her classes, because she has like a tunic class. I'd love to learn how to sew myself a tunic. I might try in between now and then, but she has remakes of vintage fabric. She has new fabric. She has fabric she's designed. She has some really, really cool things. So these are the little ones that I've picked up just for myself to play around with. Little fat quarters. I was very happy about that. That was a lot of fun. I would love to take you all down there via the podcast and have a little chit chat with her about how she designs her fabrics and how knitting and fabric can work together. Wouldn't that be cool? So, okay, on to the Miss Marple knit along that we've all been chatting about in the group. I'm so glad that you guys are excited about it. It's so fun. It's fun because I feel like you guys all instigated this, which is so fun. We need to have some more chit chat about patterns. Oh, there was a lovely question from one of you in the group, and it was whether or not you can use whips or old projects that you've cast on for this knit along. And it's going to run, did I say, it's going to run over the summer. So did I say June 1st? June 1st through August 31st, something like that. And yes, absolutely. Use old whips, use forgotten whips that are buried in the closet. Anything that speaks to you of Miss Marple, of the 1940s and 50s, of cute, quaint village life. Knit a tea cozy, knit a bobble hat, knit anything that to you is Miss Marple. The idea, though, is that you would also watch Miss Marple shows or read some of the Miss Marple books. And we can all have a good chat about it in the group. One of the books that I pulled off of my shelf is Vintage Knits. It's by Sarah Dallas with Yester Knits. And it's a really cute book. I will say they don't have a lot of sizes in it. So there's not a huge selection of sizes. That's what I was looking at. But what she takes is some of the vintage knits, vintage knitting patterns, and modernizes them a little bit so that we can use today's yarns and things. And they're really, really cute patterns and cute sweaters. The one that I thought of was this set, or this top right here. A top like this is worn in one of the Miss Marples, and it is so pretty. Now, it's not this color. I think hers was blue. I should look. But it's that feather and fan pattern, and it's a really cute top. So it'd be really cute in like a cotton. I don't know that I will attempt this pattern because I'm realizing summer is going to be very busy. But I definitely need to, I would highly recommend this book if you can find it from your local library, or if you can find it on Amazon or Half Price Books or something like that. It's a really cute book. This sweater too, this would make a really lovely sweater. And that might be something, might do that one. Be nice for fall. It'd be nice to end up with a really nice piece at the end of it for fall. I love this one too. So anyways, that is that. Of course, there's always more to talk about, but I really should go. I've probably yacked on long enough. Probably all like Oh, get out of here. I forgot spinning. Look at this. I have some lovely things that I've been spinning. So this is Quill & Fiber Arts. This was Quill & Fiber Arts top in the 1, 2, 3 colorway. I think it should be called October Owls. Actually, Arthur's been calling it his tiger yarn. Isn't that great? So I think I'm going to have to make him a hat. This is terrible. But I've already begun to think a teeny tiny bit about fall. No. I really do enjoy summer and I really enjoy spring. But I think that I love fall colors. And I don't want to knit with this during the summertime because I want to enjoy summer. So I'm going to put this in a box of fall things for the fall that I'm going to open up in the fall because I want to live in the moment in the summertime. So I'm going to knit with summer colors. Then I just did some blending of fibers. I was just practicing, and I did a couple of little blends that I then spun up because it's funny. I do have a Cozy Memories blanket going, a mitered square blanket, but it's my hand spun blanket, and I only want to knit hand spun on this blanket, but I ran out of odds and ends of hand spun. I have plenty of full skeins of hand spun, but I ran out of odds and ends of hand spun. So I decided I need to spin some up, right? So that I can have some for my blanket. So I need to spin some more odds and ends for my blanket and then get that out again. But in the meantime, keep working on my scrap gown. Well, I really do need to go now. So sorry. But let's chat in the group, and I'm excited about drawing a prize at the end of June for the postcard knit along. That will be so fun. See who wins it. And I hopefully will see you shortly. Hopefully it won't be too long. So anyways, happy knitting. Talk to you later. Bye.